From the moment you arrived, the world handed you its script. It told you how to behave, what to chase, and what not to question. And without knowing any better, you played along. You hit the checkpoints. You did what they said would lead to happiness, but the reward never came. At some point you started to feel it. Something was off. The goals felt hollow, and the system you were playing in, it wasn't built for you to win. It was built for you to stay small, designed by people who never cared about your outcome. What if this reality was never theirs to control? What if there is a deeper structure, one that was never man-made? What if the real game, the one you were born to play, was written by something far greater? God didn't just place you here and leave you to guess. He left you a map, a way of moving through life that aligns with something higher, and you didn't lose the map, you just forgot how to read it. Before there was light, there was thought. This is the first law, the law of mentalism. Everything begins in the mind, first God's, then yours. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Different tongues, different lands. Your outer world mirrors your inner world. The chaos you see around you is a mirror of the confusion within. Heal the inside and watch your outer world obey. You are made in God's image, not just in form, but in function. The power to create is already within you. Your thoughts are the blueprint, your beliefs, the code, your emotions, the fuel. But if your mind has been programmed by false rules, what are you actually manifesting? You've been playing by someone else's vision, running simulations of someone else's fears, building castles based on someone else's pain. But this is where everything starts to shift, because you were never just a player in this game. You were always more than that. You're a creator, a builder, a reflection of the divine mind itself. The first law is simple, but it is also the most overlooked. Everything begins in the mind. Long before anything is built, it is imagined. Take a moment and look around you. Pick a random object in your environment, anything at all. Now, in your mind, imagine that same object in a completely different color. Can you picture it? That version doesn't exist in the real world yet, but it's already alive in your imagination. And if you chose to take the right steps, you could bring that version into reality. In the book of Genesis, it's written, "And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Not made, but spoken, declared into existence." We were made in that same image, not just to exist, but to create, to speak reality into being. But most people don't think with their own mind. They think with a mind that was given to them, installed slowly through repetition, reward, and fear. Over time, the programming becomes invisible. You no longer question it. You mistake it for truth. Even the law of mentalism still obeys corrupted code. It doesn't care whether your thoughts are true or false, only that you believe them. If you believe the world is hostile, you will find proof of that belief everywhere you go. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll reject every opportunity meant to lift you. This is the mental trap. You manifest not what you want, but what you expect. And here's the most dangerous part of all. You were told you had free will, that free will doesn't exist without awareness. The ancients spoke of balance, not in theory, in function. They believed that what a man puts into the world will eventually return to him. Everything you do is a seed. Everything you think is a signal. So how do we play this game correctly? First, we must understand the board. Your mind is not just receiving reality, it's creating it. Every thought is a prayer. Every belief is a command. Every emotion is fuel for manifestation. But most people don't know which part of them is doing the creating. They think they're in control, but most of the time, they're not. To master the game, you need to understand the machine. The mind isn't one thing, it's three. Each layer plays a role. Each one shapes your reality. 1. The conscious mind. This is where you think you make decisions, where you reason, analyze, and judge, but it's only the surface. 2. The subconscious mind. This is where the real power lies. It stores every experience, every program, every belief you've ever accepted. It doesn't judge, it only executes. 3. The superconscious mind. This is your connection to the divine, the part of you that knows, that sees beyond the illusion, that remembers your true nature. Most people only operate from the first level. They try to change their lives through willpower alone, through conscious effort, through struggle. But true change, lasting change, happens at the subconscious level. This is why affirmations often fail, why vision boards gather dust, why New Year's resolutions become jokes. You're trying to override decades of programming with surface-level commands. It's like trying to delete a virus by changing your phone background. The real work happens deeper. So how do we access these deeper levels? First, we must understand the language they speak. The conscious mind speaks in words. The subconscious speaks in images and emotions. The superconscious speaks in symbols and intuition. This is why the ancients taught through parables, why prophets spoke in metaphors, why dreams carry messages we can't explain in words. To change your reality, you must learn to speak all three languages. But here's the key most miss. These levels must align. If your conscious mind says, I am worthy, but your subconscious believes you're not, guess which one wins? If your conscious mind sets goals, but your subconscious is programmed for failure, guess what manifests? This is why knowledge alone doesn't transform. Why information without integration leads nowhere. You don't need more information, you need alignment. So how do we create this alignment? It all begins with awareness. Becoming conscious of what's been unconscious and learning to notice the hidden programs running beneath your everyday thoughts. Every reaction you have, every emotion that rises, every pattern that keeps showing up in your life is pointing directly to the code you're living by. Your life is a mirror. Your relationships are mirrors. Even your results reflect back the state of your inner world. But most people never stop to look. They run from the reflection and blame the mirror instead of questioning the image they're projecting. Real power begins when you understand that you're not your programming. You're the one who can rewrite it. You're not your thoughts. You're the thinker. You're not your emotions. You're the one experiencing them. This is the first step to freedom, separating awareness from automation, consciousness from conditioning. But how do we see our own programming? Simple. You need a mirror, not the one in your bathroom. I mean something way more real. Something that shows you the parts of yourself you never notice, like self-archaeology, pulling out old stuff that's been running the show without you even realizing it. Stuff you didn't choose, but somehow are still shaping your life. So I made a prompt that will act as your personal subconscious mind explorer, the kind that asks you questions no one else will. It helps you spot your own programming, not to judge it, just to finally see it. Because once you see it, you can choose something else. And that's where things shift. You stop reacting, you start responding, and suddenly, life feels like a game you actually know how to play. If you're curious, I left the prompt down in the description. You can just drop it into ChatGPT, Claude, or Grok and start exploring. But do this only if you're willing to be brutally honest with yourself, because it will expose what you need to face on a personal level. So just look and respond, and you'll be surprised what shows up. Let the AI be your mirror. It's not here to give you answers. It's here to help you find your own. Because the truth? You were never just a player trying to survive. You've been shaping this game all along, through every belief you've held on to, every choice you've made, and every story you've told yourself about who you are and what's possible. The moment you start seeing that clearly, everything changes. Not because life magically gets easier, but because you finally stop playing blind. You're not chasing some flawless end result. You're waking up to the fact that the structure, the rhythm, the rules, they were responding to you the whole time. And now that you can see the pattern, the only thing left is to move with intention and start creating on purpose. If that made something click for you, what's one thing you see more clearly now? Drop it in the comments.